I have no idea how this video is going to come out. Come here. So, you make all your money on Fridays, but there's important things that need to happen on Fridays. Right now, this is one of those things. So, whether we like it or not. Because I got a dinner tonight, I got to meet somebody, so we're going to get naked. You know, we're going to get naked. All right. Stay in my buddy's place. So, we used to have a little bit of a bigger shower area. This is a little shower area. How are we gonna do this? Fuck it, we can do this. There we go. All right, there we go. Let's see the front view. Let's see the front view. Shake that little tail feathers. Look out. If you pull this down, dude, you're gonna be in big trouble. Big trouble. Big trouble. All right. All right. All right, my bad. I'm bad. No. Always safety first. Safety first. So one of the challenges we're having right now. So when you build a team, especially if you want like a lot of Yorks, or you're like hiring salespeople or engineers, you have to onboard them. And if you can't handle what you got, don't overhire. There used to be a guy, we'll call him Jar. We were doing a company in the analytics space. He didn't understand this concept. And most of the white boys, who thought it was white boy day in Boston, as they always do, like the entire world actually revolves around the New York, I love my Boston guys, but they actually did think that Tom Brady was like one of them. He was just a New Yorker, California guy. Well played, Tom. But like, you don't onboard more than you can handle. Now, granted, like, this motherfucker can do it, right? But I learned in the 90s when you weren't around, I had a guy, a nice young man, who I let down. I was making a lot of money. I hired too many people. This guy came to work for me. I was managing a lot of folks, but he was going to work directly for me on my desk back in those days. I was too busy. I was getting, tied up in dinners and drinks and the back office, making $500,000 a year in the 90s and all that shit. And he quit. Within like 3 or 4 weeks. Super nice guy, too. And he left me a handwritten note. All right. We're going to try the Scouts honor today. This one sort of works, but these guys are itchy as a motherfucker right now. Oh, I'm supposed to shake it. Hold on. I know. Oh, ho, ho. There we go. So, anyway, he leaves me this note, right? So I come to work, which, having somebody quit on a sales desk isn't that big a deal, but he left me a note, handwritten note for the emails and all that shit. And he basically said, Michael Burns, you told me I would come here, told me you were the man, told you I didn't really know how to do this job, you told me you were going to train me. I stared at an empty desk every day, sit in front of me. Basically said I lied to him, which he was right. I did. I didn't mean to, but I was caught up in, being a VP and, I don't know, I was a VP at that point. I was probably just a director at that point, but you know the drill. And there's types of people that I've seen over the years, and they flip on the staff real quickly. And staff's a horrible word. You have to just use it for some level of context. I know, baby, but you got to let it get in there. You got to let it get in. You got to let it get in, because this is all oatmeal. The other stuff they wanted me to put on you had all these steroids in them, and that's not good because you'll build up a tolerance to them. So we have to put this on, and we got to, hey, we're going to get in the armpits. We got to get in the feetsies. We got to get in the feet. Lee gets cold, but she doesn't try and leave. Fifth Element gets the grip, but she gets cold fast. But this one's been the real itchy one, so I really got to get into the hiney area. She's chewing her little tail off. She just might be allergic to fleas too. It's not that they have fleas, but there are fleas here. There's a lot of possums and raccoons and what are they called? Feral cats. So like, I think she gets a little flea bite, and then it's all hell breaks loose. So anyway, he writes this thing to me, and instead of me being like, which I look back and I was proud of myself. I was like, I tried to call him. He didn't want to take the call, blah, blah, blah. But I remember being like, fuck, motherfucker. Like, what a fucking douche I am. You know, as I always say, a cunt is cunt. And I don't look back in anger, but like, a cunt is cunt. So, don't look back in anger. I heard you say. So, I know. What are you saying? Hey, Papa, leave these Yorks alone. I know. Look how lathered up you are. Look how lathered up you are. So anyway, it affected me. I'm a fairly emotional guy. And I was like, that'll never fucking happen again. Ever. Ever. Years later, when the market crashed, it happened again. For different reasons. It was less about making money and more about feeling sorry for ourselves. You know, we were fucking in the depths of 2001. And, you know, when you guys get your first recession, dude, you guys, is this going to be like, I am going to have to open up a fucking therapy hotline, like 1-800, like suicide lists. You know, like if you talk to anyone, like say like, oh, you know, how old were you in 2008? And they're like, oh, how old were you in 2001? And if those people were not alive in prime time in business going for it, they got no idea what's coming. Like, it's going to be like, nobody move, nobody get yorked. Right? Like, you're talking about a smoke job to a smoke job to a smoke job. It ain't going from suck to blow. It is fucking legit to the next degree. It is shadow boxing the apocalypse, and the apocalypse is teeing you up like Clubber fucking Lang. Look at that rump roast right there. So anyway, it happens again, right? Now, in between there, we'd had a riff, right? So I don't even know if any of you guys young people like come on TikTok these days. You know what a riff is? Right, well, so there's this cool thing called Google and like these AIs. You can look it up in business. What is a riff? So a riff is basically where you have to fucking fire all the people who don't deserve to be fired. Not fun, because the business has been managed poorly, or there's been adverse circumstances. Most people say it's adverse circumstances. Usually we just manage it the wrong way. So in those days for us, it was hubris. And like this time, like it fucked, there's a website back in the day called fuckedcompany.com, which is like one of the first blogs that really came out, and like basically they were like the Yelp of like when it was going down. So it's like, say like you were like in a really successful company selling copiers, but you like to bang the secretaries, you were getting annihilated on this thing. Let's say you drank too much, blah, blah, blah. Like let's say you did too much blow, like this guy was back in those days, right? Like you were just getting crushed, right? But I was a good manager, so like it didn't really fucking matter. Like people fucking loved me. But like it was a pullback on the curtain of all tech companies, and then it spread across everything. Hey, come here. So anyway, this time what I did is I took my second, who was like my main gal back in the day, and these were very adverse circumstances. But like, you have to work inside out. I always give this medium like work inside out. Don't work outside in. Right, which is so fucking amazing because like I watch these Harvard guys, they're so I mean, and I lived in Harvard and I hung out in Harvard and I lived at 1622 Mass Ave when I was in business and I hung out in all those bars. I agree with these guys, dude. I'm not about the political side. Fucking useless. Useless. Take one Harvard guy who wants to meet me anywhere and go one-on-one with the great one and try to figure out how he's gonna fucking make it out alive. No way, Jose. I don't even have to show up. I'll just send one of the Yorks. Right? Hey. Fucking useless. Maybe back in the day when you guys were like at Yale and shit, building the OSS and shit like that, and like that was going down. But these days, oh my God. And I like the JFK School of Business. I used to hang out there all the time, talk to people, blah, blah, blah. Hang out in the bow and arrow, blah, blah. So anyway, I'm sitting in my office on the fucking 18th fucking floor, beautiful place, you know, enough room for 50 salespeople. There's like 6 of us in there because it's like doldrums, looking out over the best view over fucking UCLA and the South Bay. You can see all the way to like Manhattan Beach at the time. I know, D. I know, sweetie. The rinse is coming. Gotta let the oatmeal sit. 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 So anyway, she calls me, very loyal person. We've been through a lot of battles together, made a lot of money. I'll call her, you know, the Irish woman. And anyway, she just called me. She was like, I just can't do this anymore. You know, and that wasn't her fault. That was my fault. Because I was focused on everything else and freaking out. And I also gotten like a bunch of DUIs at the time. You know, those things were getting fucking really weird. It was the 90s, early 2000s. Move us guys out from the East Coast. I mean, you know, LA wasn't exactly a town you could say like in, you know, New England, hey, I've had a couple pops and they let you fucking drive home. You know, you were doing a night in the clink. And we were slugging them back, dude. Shameful behavior. Good news, no one ever got hurt. That would have been horrible. But anyway, I learned a lot from that. Of like, I never learned a lot by having success as a leader. I learned a lot about kind of like bad breakups, you know, but I never get mad about it, you know, but I try to learn from it and move on, knowing that history will repeat itself, but I try to have that history be less, and I try to, you know, Marcus recently said to me, there's a guy I know, you know, how do you know, when you only hire a few people, how do you hire the gem? And you know, a big part of it is like really explaining what the battle is and what your weaknesses are and where you need to come in and fit in versus kind of shocking them. Like, you don't want to be like into like total kink and then like bring someone home pretending you like vanilla sex and be like, no, I'm into kink, right? Or vice versa. Right, you don't want to be like really into vanilla sex and, you know, tell someone you're into kink. So you just got to like make that social contract early and often, and then also make sure when it, whoa motherfucker, when it comes to really hiring. Oh, this is the tough part. We got to do their faces. I know. I'm gonna do it quick. I'm gonna get out of here. Nobody move. Nobody get your. And you just learn from it a little bit, you know. I think the first time I ever gave a Yorkie a bath, I fucking poured a ton of water down her ears. That didn't work out well. That was an expensive fucking bill. She didn't like it. She got an ear infection. So now I know how to do it. I know, that's, yeah, a little payback shake. All right. So when you're trying to hire the right people, hiring the right people is a lot like how I get Yorkies. What's the age-old phrase? Hire slowly, fire quickly. So what does it mean to hire slowly? Does that mean to put your fucking internal recruiter on it? Are you fucking kidding me? Right? You're gonna take this much money from a fucking recruiting company and let someone who's never really been an operator? And just so you guys know, and I'm telling you this right now, the best internal recruiters are the biggest druggies. That's how they're doing it. They're the blow girls, they're the fucking drink girls, they're the guys who hang out all night. So just understand that if you've got a really good internal recruiter in your company, that's the fucking drug team. And no one will respond to that because it's fucking true, motherfuckers. Right, this is my last channel, so I'm dropping the motherfucking dime. Right, I got the Wu-Tang Clan in my life. Stay. I forgot the towel. Ugh. I know, you're not going to get a tub, though. To lay me down. All right, we got to get the lead done first because she gets colder faster. I know. So, how do you find a good Yorkie, right? I've done it 4 times. I'm batting 4-0, right? Only one health illness on all of them, but that was a weird one where like it wasn't really like the genetics. It just happens to Yorkies sometimes where they get a little weird and blind. So basically, and for anybody out there, it's like, oh, you shouldn't ask that in an interview. I don't give a fuck. I've been doing it forever. Right? I had English guys being like, Mr. Burns, just so you know, you can't fire us that quickly. No shit. I walked into the fucking elevator. I locked him out. I don't give a fuck. Right? What the fuck are they going to do to me? Right? And we'll talk about later videos like being a person of significance. Right? Nobody fucks with me. You want to know why? It's painful. Right? You know, I have never called the HR department in my life when I've had a problem with someone. I called somebody to fucking make sure somebody's car wasn't there in the morning. All right, 1 York, go. Go. Next York. So anyway, when you want to get a good Yorkie, so like these are like purebred, like they're expensive. And yes, for all you people like, oh, you should be getting a rescue. They are a rescue. I rescued her from Miami. I rescued her from the Inland fucking Empire. You want to grow up in Riverside? So they are rescues. It's just they're expensive rescues. It's a rump roast right there. It's a rump roast. Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's do it. All right. This is the tough part. Gotta move the towels like 18 times. What are you doing? You get it all, get in there, rub in there, get in there. Get in there. What are you doing? Don't make the wrong hire. Don't knock that laptop over. What are you doing? You guys needed a tub, dude. I don't give a fuck. Hey. Cigarettes. So, what the fuck was I saying? Oh, so the way you make, so like if you want a really good York like this, you want them to be between, especially from a health standpoint, you want them to be between like 7 and 8 pounds. So what you're doing is, you can't go to puppy mills, you can't go to fucking major breeders, because technically somewhere in there that there's a supply chain economics where something's going wrong, even if they're keeping track of the DNA. So what you're looking for is like almost like beer. You're looking for like a small batch brewer who probably does like 1 season a year, and you just know that they did that season the right way. So you're looking for like a Yorkshire mother who's like 8 to 9 pounds, especially you have like 10 if she's a little heavy because of the puppies and stuff like that. And then the sire should only be 4.5 pounds. And then you get these nice little, aerodynamic Yorks. Everyone's like, oh, they're teacups. I'm like, no, those are fucking Yorks. So where's all that going when it comes to hiring? So Marcus, this is where it goes. When you're hiring someone, you need to know, what did their patriarchal grandfather do and patriarchal grandmother do? You need to know what their father did and how they grew up. You need to know the matriarchal grandmother and grandfather, and you need to know the matriarch. You need to understand how the matriarch and the patriarch met, how long they've been married, how many kids they have, where they sit in the stack, how they feel about sitting in the stack, where were they a few years ago, where are they now, and where are they trying to go. Now you understand what's probably going to pop out later. Hey, right? Because I meet the parents before I meet these guys. So, as Bob Marley said, if you don't know your past, you don't know your future. So go find the past to find the future. If not, you're living in U2, you got stuck in the moment and you can't get out, and that's a bad hire. Now, on top of that, you have to use situational leadership, which means that if the task is going after it and I'm hiring for my startup, and this is a mistake to the fucking 10th fucking motherfucking degree. When I tell you, if you want to watch a technically introverted fucking person with no social skills hire when they've hit product market fit, it's this. Well, he was the chief marketing officer at XYZ, so that must mean he's ready to go now. No, dude, it probably means the motherfucker's tired. It probably means that motherfucker is spent. It probably means he wants to fucking coast. And there's probably a good chance they only were on fire for once. Right? So there's very few people who can throw a fastball 100 miles an hour at 18 and still do it at 35. And also, do they want to do it? There was a time in my life I could throw a lacrosse ball 120 miles an hour. I can't do that shit no more. I can still shoot the J though. Right? I'll rain fire. Right? From deep. How we doing? Drying it out? Let me get the brush. So, those are just a couple. There's a lot more I can get into on interviewing. And then there's how do you close talent? Well, what do you do if they have other offers and they have other offers? How do we close them down when we know we've moved the quickest? Or, hey, how do we keep them on the market when, our process is a little bit longer because we've got a special process over here and blah, blah, blah. Dude. Right? I'm telling you right now, you're overcomplicating everything, right? And I am totally getting out at this point, right? I already know, yes, anywhere, anytime you want to debate the MXB, anywhere, anytime, on any of these topics, right? And I'm not saying I know everything. Everything I just told you right there, based on what I saw on this channel, facts, double facts, triple facts, quarter facts, right? Theory, whether anything I'm doing here matters, right? Oh, you got to clean up the videos. Oh, can't you put more emojis in them? Blah, blah, blah. You shouldn't even be watching the video while you listen to me, right? Do you really need the graphic user interface? Is it that important? Is this that important? Do you need the Yorkie thing? Do you need the Yorkie thing? Is that what it is? Oh, show the dog, show the dog, show the dog. Dude, whatever, dude. Right? Your mind is in control, to quote the great Willie Nelson, even if you do not know. Right? Your mind is in control, Even if you do not know. If you keep it idle, you won't know where it goes. Energy follows thought, man. To quote the great Willie Nelson via the big guy, Captain Coach. So, let's see how this new shampoo is. Ooh, I feel it's pretty good, right? Not too bad, right? Hey, still chewing on that butt, dude. So we get some spray too. This one's been super itchy though, dude. I've got her in Zyrtec right now too. Can't give them Zyrtec D though. Don't give your dog Zyrtec D, but you can give them a little Zyrtec. Just to bring their swelling down a little bit. It's been itchy. So yeah, we're gonna get ready to go live. I think I'm gonna go live for like 50 hours straight. I want to set the record for live. And I have no cue cards, no nothing. Like I'll look at a note here long, but like, dude, this shit's all in the database. Like I'm just downloading the database. I think I got 2 views the other day. Dumb fuckers, right? I'm really looking for a coach on LinkedIn to really show me how to do things. Dude, just fucking take the free training. You know. And here's another thing. We all know you don't know how to hire, right? I know most of you who are in management don't really want to be in management. Like, what's your number one conversation when you go home? You talk about how annoying your fucking team is, right? You shouldn't even be in management. Right? Just like where the money is more, but like, why be in something that's so miserable? Like you hate it. I had a client years ago who actually the CEO is still a client today. And they had like $17 million and they hired all these young kids and they wanted to build an SDR team when that was hot and stuff like that. And they put this really nice guy, I really liked him very much. He was more of a channel partner relationship guy. And he was a little older than me at the time. He was probably in his 40s or something. And I was in my early 40s. We went out to lunch at like a weird New Zealand restaurant, funnily enough. So I'm sitting there, my business partner's over there, you know, he always hated being everywhere with me. He would just sit there, it's a waste of time, I don't know what I'm doing, what are we doing, blah, 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 right? You know, it's like, all right, dude, just shut the fuck up. But anyway, so we're sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, you know, I walked through your office, which if I walk through your office in 10 minutes, I can tell you everything is wrong, right? He has no data to do that. He has no data. Dude, I am the data, motherfucker. Jesus, right? I invite you to consider that I'm probably talking to your employees online the way I would be talking to your wife if she was not in a happy marriage. Number one occupation, stealing women from their other men. So I'm sitting there and he's like, whoa, this is these kids, these 20-year-olds, they used to go to work, blah, blah. I'm like, well, do they come to work? He's like, yeah. I'm like, do they come in early? Yeah. I go, well, let me ask you a question. When they call your prospects, do they pick up the phone? He's like, yeah, they pick up the phone. I'm like, okay. That's a huge advantage. I'm like, well, how long are they on the phone with them for? He's like, I don't know, 5 minutes. I was like, your SDR gets 5 minutes on the phone with a prospect and they don't hang up? I go, did you give me an SDR? You give me 5 minutes on the phone with your prospect, right? I'll take his wife. My business partner at the time spit out his food at it, and the CEO like froze up. And I was like, dude. So then, like, I was like, all right, I got downshifted. These guys are like, you know, they're 619ers and 760ers, so they can't really handle like the 212 and the 415 and the 310 when it's coming full frontal. So I was like, all right, well, let me ask you this. You're managing 15, 21 to 25-year-old San Diego kids, which, no offense, dude, this is not the cream of the crop of ambition. Which, if I grew up in San Diego, I probably wouldn't even become a deadhead. I would have stayed on my Powell Peralta. I would have been a surfer, right? I'd still be living out there. So I can't blame them because the weather's so nice. But you had access to such good weed, so you'd be so high. But anyway, I was like, okay, let me ask you a question. Do you like 21, 22, 23-year-olds. He's like, no, I fucking hate them. And that's what they put in charge of the team. Right? You probably shouldn't coach a college football team if you don't like college kids. Right? I'm pretty sure that Nick Saban enjoys young men between 18 and 22 who he really wants to mold, and Dean Smith did the same thing, and blah, blah. But if you don't like that, like, what are you doing? You know? So, this is a good long ramble on a Friday. It's a ramble on Friday. Good news is, it was good for me. I hope it was good for you. We're trying to get this chewing down a little bit. We'll get there. We'll get there. I want you to try just a little bit harder. MXB TV.